All right, let's move on to the Reds, Skinny. Hunter Green was named the opening day starter. That was a topic of conversation last year when he wasn't named the opening day starters. David Bell opted to go with Frankie Montas. Did you think it was the obvious decision this time around?
I do. I mean, all-star last year. Other than that one outing in spring, he's been his most recent one. He seemed like he was really electric. I think he's been really, really good. I think you saw him mature last year, which is all you needed to see. And yeah, I mean, he is the top of the line guy. I mean, he will be in the mix for the Cy Young if he pitches healthy this season. I think there's no doubt about that. So if you're Terry Francona, it was a no-brainer in my opinion.
Now, that contract the Reds signed continues to look like one of the best moves they've made in a long time. Elly as MVP was a topic of discussion this week around really, I think, more national outlets, and then kind of made its way to Reds outlets because it came up elsewhere. MLB.com revealed their favorites to win the MVP award in both the American and National Leagues, with Elly listed as the number 5 favorite in the National League. I also think there's a thing where Elly's really popular with younger kids and just in general across baseball, so he gets you clicks. So I think there are a lot of national pundits who, making their bold predictions for this year, like to throw his name in there and use him. So people are making him the prediction if they want to go out on a ledge a little bit. He finished 8th in last season's NL MVP voting. FanDuel currently gives him the 8th best odds to win the MVP at 25-1 for this year. He's behind Ohtani, Soto, Tatis, Betts, Harper, Tucker, and Lindor. Do you think there's a real chance that we could see an Elly MVP season?
I do. I mean, 40-40 is not out of the question. That 40-80 we talked about last week seems a little insane, but 40-40 isn't out of the question if he, again, takes that next step forward, makes better contact, makes contact more often. He is electric, to your point. I think that helps. I think you would probably have to have Ohtani get hurt.
That's what I was just going to say. Ohtani has to get hurt, though, right? Because otherwise, there's no argument.
But it would probably be worth a 20 spot to win whatever it was, 500, and then maybe back yourself up with a little bit of Soto money and a little bit of Ohtani money to kind of balance out the scales. I think that would be a fair way to go with this.
Yeah, let me just throw this out for a little bit of perspective. Last year, when we were towards the end of the season and people were publishing, like the odds for the MVP voting, Elly's odds at that point were 22-1. At the end of last season, when it was clear he wasn't going to win the award, like it was obvious he wasn't getting it. So being 25-1 going into this year, I wouldn't necessarily say that means like he's become more of a favorite to be the MVP this year, at least by Vegas's expectations.
Soto coming back to the National League has probably knocked that down just a peg, right?
Soto makes it tough. Obviously, that gives you a secondary guy along with Ohtani, but Ohtani's going to pitch again this year, Skinny. Like,
I know
he does offensively, but you're going to have to add in his value as a pitcher this year. He's back from that. Just how could it be anyone else unless he completely misses the year, basically?
And that's the only thing you would have to go on is just you make that bet. And I hate to do that with anybody. You make the bet on an Elly, you go, yeah, but I'm hoping that guy gets hurt. I don't hope anybody gets hurt. I mean, that would be the reason to make that bet.
Yeah. And even then, I mean, still Soto, then Tatis, Betts, Harper, Tuck. I mean, there's other guys in the mix that are probably going to be ahead of Elly. Can he pass some of them up? I think so. Is he going to pass Ohtani up? Man, that would be a hell of a year for the Reds if he did. That would be pretty great.
Yeah. Yes, that might be a 50-60 year.
Yeah, I mean, the Reds are really going to be a real contender if that's the case. So, I think anybody would be taking that. I don't think he has a real chance to win the MVP for that reason. Any other thoughts on Reds and spring training going on right now, Skinny?
No, believe it or not, we are less than a week from baseball starting with the Dodgers Padres. I think it is in overseas.
Yeah, the opening game, and then next week's show will basically be the Reds
opening day preview. You're right.
Opening day preview. That's it. So we'll talk more Reds next week. Kept it a little shorter this week.